Welcome to our commercial advertising photography class. I'm glad you've joined us. In this lesson, we will learn about the photography of high-end watches and jewelry, which usually have higher production costs compared to other items. Watches and jewelry usually appear in advertisements in two main forms. First, as the main subject or paired with simple props to emphasize their unique features and charm. Second, featuring models wearing them to highlight the radiance of the product. In this session, we will focus on the first approach, without models, and discuss the photography of watches and jewelry separately. Let's begin with watches. While the designs and decorations of watches can vary greatly, their overall structure remains consistent, and there are certain lighting patterns that can be applied. The challenge with lighting watches lies in their casing, dials, hands, numerals, and bands, which might share similar textures or be entirely distinct. Additionally, we need to avoid reflections on the watch's glass, as they can affect the clarity of the dial. Watch dials come in various textures, and the shapes of hands and numerals can also differ. When it comes to lighting watches, it's advisable to use soft and front lighting. Hard lighting can create unwanted highlights on the protruding numerals, and lighting from the sides can result in heavy shadows within the curved surfaces of the watch case, impacting the overall presentation of the watch. Because watches are small items, we should minimize the number of light sources used, regardless of the watch's surface curvature. Using gentle and diffused light as the main light source is preferred. Another crucial aspect is to position the watch hands at specific fixed times. Typically, positioning the hands at 10:10 is appropriate. This is kind of a standard, as it carries positive connotations, resembling the shape of a V for victory or a smiling face. In contrast, the time for 40 is discouraged, as the positions of the hour and minute hands resemble a frowning face, conveying a negative mood. Therefore, it's advisable to select 10:10 as the watch's display time when photographing it. Now let's take a look at the example image for this lesson. This image portrays a top-down view, and the prop used in the composition is a nut with a metallic texture, which complements the effect produced by the watch. Let's analyze the light position in this image. The primary light source for this image comes from the top, creating highlights on the rear side of the watch. A relatively subtle reflector is positioned below the image to provide fill light to the shadows. For lighting equipment, using a standard reflector with tracing paper can achieve a soft lighting effect. In terms of the camera angle, this image has a distinct characteristic, for it was taken from a vertical 90-degree perspective. Let's analyze the aperture, shutter speed, and other camera settings. The depth of field in this image is quite clear, so we can use a small aperture of f/16 to capture the shot. The shutter speed is set to a 125th seconds and the ISO is set to 100. Given that this image features a small subject, a macro lens is ideal for this situation. Using a 100mm lens allows us to get closer to the subject and create close-up visual effect that regular lenses cannot achieve. When portraying a watch, due to its smooth surface, it can sometimes easily reflect the surrounding environment. Therefore, it's crucial to carefully observe the areas of reflection in the composition. Now, let's move on to arrange the composition. I've chosen a different prop than the one used in the image. A stainless steel corrugated hose, similar to the flexible hose commonly used to connect shower heads at home. I've cut it into small sections to complement the watch photography. Let's place the watch in this background and see its effect. Starting with the composition, we will find a suitable spot for it based on the image position, and we can use paper tape to create a stable platform for it within the composition. Adjusting the prop to the right position is a detailed process, so it's important to do it carefully, ensuring it sits steadily within the frame. Now I have positioned the watch let's locate the light sources, and I'll continue to use the LED light as a substitute for a flashlight. The primary light source position is at the backlit highlight position. Let's take a look at the general direction and location, which is in this region, where it can illuminate the upper part of the watch. To achieve this effect, we position the light in this area. To soften the light better, I use the tracing paper as a diffuser. While using the tracing paper, it can be shaped like a slope. This way, the reflected light will be diffused from the upper part to the lower part, forming a soft, semicircular light. This enhances the overall softness of the lighting setup. Now let's turn on the lights and capture an image to see the results. We can see that the upper part of the product has been illuminated, while the lower part remains relatively dark. So we need to use some reflective methods. Fill in the light. I have 3 types of small reflectors here. One with a silver reflective surface, another with a mirrored finish, and the third with a frosted silver texture. We'll use these 3 types of reflectors to compare their effects and see how they differ in terms of reflection. Let's start by trying the silver reflective board for its effect. Alright, now let's test the mirrored reflector's effect. Lastly, let's see the effect of the frosted texture reflector. Now let's compare the 3 effects and observe their subtle variations. The first image, using the silver reflective panel, creates a broader reflection area, resulting in a soft lighting effect. In the second image, with the mirror-like reflective surface, the lower part's highlight is very bright, but the area not affected by the light becomes narrower. The third image has a softer and larger area of reflection. When considering the 3 options, the first one presents a more intense lighting effect. The second one appears more contrasted and brighter, giving the metallic texture a more dynamic appearance. The third image appears softer and doesn't have prominent highlighting effects. By comparison, the first image's overall effect appears to be more appealing. So we'll choose it as our final result. When capturing small reflective products like watches, it's crucial to observe their reflective areas in detail to achieve a more refined visual effect.